to be conducted. All right, we'll just go with this.
Now, we must have one army. We must have one currency. We must have one foreign. We must unite now. We must have one army. We must have one currency. We must have one foreign. We must unite now. We must have one army. We must have one currency. We must have one foreign. We must unite now. We must have one army. We must have one currency. We must have one foreign. We must unite now. We must have one army. We must have one currency. We must have one foreign. We must unite now. We must have one army. We must have one currency. We must have one foreign. We must unite now. We must have one army. We must have one currency. We must have one foreign. We must unite now. We must have one army. We must have one currency. We must have one foreign. We must unite now. We must have one army. We must have one currency. We must have one foreign. We must unite now. We must have one army. We must have one currency. We must have one foreign. We must unite now. We must have one army. We must have one currency. We must have one foreign. We must unite now. We must have one army. We must have one currency. We must have one foreign. We must unite now. We must have one army. We must have one currency. We must have one foreign. We must unite now. We must have one army. We must have one currency. We must have one foreign. We must unite now. We must have one army. We must have one currency. We must have one foreign. We must unite now. We must have one army. We must have one currency. We must have one foreign. We must unite now. We must have one army. We must have one currency. We must have one foreign. We must unite now. We must have one army. We must have one currency. We must have one foreign. We must unite now. We must have one army. We must have one currency. We must have one foreign. We must unite now. We must have one army.
But everyone has a different story.
We must have one currency.
Shell, which says it's
we must have one foreign. We must unite now.
the market.
We must have one army. We must have one currency. We must have one foreign. We must unite now. We must have one army. We must have one currency. We must have one foreign. We must unite now. We must have one army. We must have one currency. We must have one foreign. We must unite now. We must have one army. We must have.
All right. Good morning, folks. Once again, welcome to WCC. Oh man! First of all, listen. I'm sorry for the change in time. I know we is that? What is that? What is that? What is that? What is that? Oh God, I'm on live. Stop calling me. All right. So I know we usually start at 1 p.m., but today, I have an appointment at 12, right? So I have to leave by 11 to attend to some family events. So that's why I changed the time, because I didn't want to reschedule for next week, and then because I felt like it was going to slow down, the topic. So I have to force myself to do it. So that's how we came to 9 o'clock. However, I know we all are in it together, so that's why you're here, and that's why I'm here, and that's why we are here. All right. So today's topic, it says Ibriham Traore is the face. Ibriham Traore is the face of Pan-African collectiveness. Ibriham Traore is the face of Pan-African collectiveness. If US and EU hate it, then they hate African. Pan-African, the face of Pan-African collectiveness, is Ibriham Traore. And if the United States and Europe hate him, hate Ibriham Traore, then the US and Europe hate Africans and hate Africa and hate African liberation and hate for Africans to control their own continent, their own resources, and their own nation. If the United States and Europe hate Ibriham Traore in 2025, the same way they hated Gaddafi, they killed Gaddafi. The same way they hated Nkrumah and make sure they wanted to kill Nkrumah. The same way they hated Amilcar Cabral and they killed Amilcar Cabral. The same way they hated Thomas Sankara and they killed Thomas Sankara. The same way they hated Patrick Lumumba and they killed Patrick Lumumba. The same way they hated Malcolm X and they killed Malcolm X. The same way they hated King Dr. King and they killed Dr. King. Wow. It is the same way they are hating Ibriham Traore. And all those leaders that they are hating, they have killed. Those leaders never meant anything bad for Africa, but for good of Africa and for African people. And the leader that the US and Europe so-called support in Africa and in African nations, these are leaders that don't mean anything good for Africa. These are leaders that don't mean any good thing for Africans and for African nations. Oh my God, look at Paul Biya, almost 50 years in power, but the United States adored him. Oh my God, look at Farouk of Togo. Oh man, over 50 years, family dynasty. But the Congolese or the Togolese have been advocating and asking the US, even asking Malcolm Leslie, even asking Afrikan. Afrikan, by the way, is a terrorist organization. Oh yes, we're going to prove that today. Afrikan, it is a terrorist organization, the Afrikan. That Malcolm Leslie is the commander-in-chief in Africa. Afrikan is a terrorist organization. The Afrikan in Africa, an American, let me put it this way. Oh man, what time it is? Africa in Africa, the Afrikan in Africa, wow. The Afrikan in Africa. Oh, that's a nice word, right? But very deadly. Oh man. The Afrikan in Africa, a Washington DC body in Africa. Afrikan in Africa, it is a terrorist organization. African in Africa, it is an armed group, a terrorist organization in Africa, solely for the purpose of destabilization, solely for the purpose of neocolonialism, solely for the purpose of killing Africans' visionary leader, as we have seen. Because the reason why African it is a terrorist armed group in Africa, how can a commander-in-chief of Africa or African looking at Ibriham Traore, a leader for the people, for the masses, a leader that have seen the direction of getting the African goal, the African mind, a leader that have said enough is enough of exploitation, enough is enough of foreign domination, a leader that is saying enough is enough of seeing my people with poor health care, a leader that is saying enough is enough of seeing my people poor educational system, a leader that is saying enough is enough of seeing my gold being looted. I'm going to France, where France has reserve of gold, but France does not have a gold mine. A leader that is saying enough is enough. On the other hand, we have African, the commander, Michael Lensley, is saying Burkina Faso leader is a dictator. Is saying Burkina Faso leader must be overthrown. Is saying Burkina Faso leader must be killed. Such an organization called African, it is a terrorist organization. Because if you can see the good in these men, if you can see the good of a leader that is wanted by the people, for the people of the people, African is saying this man is a threat to the world. Oh, Michael Lensley, oh, African, how can such a man, human being, be a threat to Africa and for Africa? Therefore, African is a terrorist organization. Michael Lensley worked with a terrorist organization called African. African that killed Gaddafi. Michael Lensley worked for a terrorist organization. If you work for a terrorist organization, therefore that leads you or identify you to be a terrorist. Yes, Michael Lensley is a terrorist who seek to own a life, an African leader who stands for Africa. This is my introduction. Welcome to WCC. I am your host, Frank Mauba, where we are unapologetic of what we say. We are unapologetic because it is not of opinion, it is of the truth. And when you speak the truth, you become unapologetic. Now, let's get started. Today, because I changed the time, I did not really prepare all the material that I wanted to bring. And I did not really make lists. So you're going to see me jumping from here to here. But however, the show is still going to go on. You're still going to get what we are here for. So today is about Ibriham Traore, right? Today is about Africa, right? And this message go to all the African leaders. Oh man, my God. Oh man, the African leaders are trembling. Look, if we hate, if we are going against the imperialists, the colonialists, so therefore the imperialists are involved. We don't care whether you are an African or you are a black man, no. We don't care no more. So let's go to the African leaders. You know what you saw on April 30 is a warning to you. And May 25th, going to be another one. And you all know what May 25th is. So let's go to the African leaders. You don't have to seek validation from the United States. You don't have to go to France when France call you or Macron call you. You don't have to come to Washington, D.C. If Donald Trump, Biden, or the next president of the United States call you, you don't have to come. You don't have to go to Japan. You don't have to. There is no need. You don't have to be answerable to the United States. You don't. You don't. You don't have to be answerable to France. You don't. You don't have to be answerable to any nation that enslaved and colonized your continent. You don't. You don't have to be answerable to any nation or CIA that participated directly or indirectly in the assassination of great African leaders. You don't. It's a warning and signal that you saw. All you have to be answerable to is what Ibriham Traore is doing, and you'll be protected. African leaders, all we are asking for you to do is do the good thing. Stand for your people. Protect your people. Root for your people. You don't have to be bought over. You don't have to accept crumb. You see what Ibriham Traore did just in 2.5 years. This young man, 37, he was able to pay $4.8 billion debt Burkina Faso owe in 2 years. In 2 years. So don't tell us we can't do it. Don't tell us, oh, this person wanted to do it, but United States kill him. France kill him. Europe kill him. Listen, the reason why the United States, the reason why the CIA, Europe, or Asia have been killing African leaders is because African youth were asleep. But now we are telling you, we are no longer asleep. Therefore, don't sleep on us because we will not sleep on you. You know what Nkrumah said? Nkrumah said, don't be asleep because the imperialists are not asleep when it comes to the torture, the killing, the humiliation of Africans, the looting of African resources, the destabilization of Africans. They are not asleep. And we were asleep. Maybe that's why they've been killing our leaders. Maybe that's why they've been running propaganda against our leaders. But we want to assure to the African leaders, you don't have to be bought over by the US. All we need to do is stand for your people. Do the right thing, like how Ibriham Traore is doing. Let's see if you will not be protected. Let's see if the United States dare try to assassinate you. Let's see if Europe dare try to assassinate you. Let's see if they dare try to run propaganda against you if you will not be protected. Let's see. Let's see who have the power. Just do the right thing. We assure you that any African leaders who do the right thing going forth, you'll be untouchable. The US will fear you. Europe will fear you. CIA will fear you. They will do you no harm. Do the right thing. Don't be afraid. But let's see a short video about Ibriham Traore, and then we get into what we are here for. Today is about him, and today is about African people worldwide. Hopefully I see what I'm looking for quick because I have okay.
Tell you something wild about history that personally shocked me when I first heard it. A 34-year-old soldier, yes, just a captain, toppled a president and woke up an entire nation. This is the story of Ibrahim Traore and how he changed the course of Burkina Faso. October 2022, a blackout. Soldiers line the streets. Tension fills the air in Ouagadougou, and in the middle stands one man, calm, silent, determined. Not a general, not a politician, just Captain Traore, 34 years old. He had seen the worst: terrorist-controlled zones, schools shut down, roads lost to violence, and his fellow soldiers falling. The government stayed silent, but Traore didn't. On September 30th, he led a coup. President Damiba was gone. He didn't brag. He simply said, "The people deserve better." Personally, I was stunned by his calm, his conviction. It wasn't about power. It was about people. He pushed back against foreign control, reached out to neighbors like Mali, and spoke boldly of Pan-African sovereignty. His message inspired millions. But now, he's under fire, figuratively and literally. Just recently, during a US Senate hearing, a general claimed Ibrahim Traore is a threat to his own people. And when you hear that language, you already know what comes next. It's the same script we've seen before: pressure, intervention, destabilization. Let's be real, Africa has seen too many of its leaders undermined, not always by force, but by narrative. We need to protect leaders like Traore, who dare to dream of a sovereign future. He carries a dream, but the question isn't if he'll fall. It's whether he'll rise high enough before the world tries to bring him down. If this story moved you, like, comment, and share it. Because real stories deserve a personal voice. Follow for more hidden truths the world needs to hear. I'm your brother Vernon, the nationalist. Let me tell you something.
All right. So that is Ibrahim Traore, a man the United States want to kill, right? Now, let me give you a brief history about Michael Lansley before we get into it, because Michael Lansley brought this on himself, and that is why he's been researched, right? And we are on this for a very long time. You know, we want to remind Michael Lansley because Michael Lansley's father was also in the army. I believe was also the general. You see, Michael Lansley have never been for black people. Michael Lansley have always hated black people. What you just saw recently was a continuation of Michael Lansley evil heart towards black people. He have never loved black people. And what Michael Lansley failed to realize is that once he put that uniform down, he's nobody. He will be discriminated against. He will never be loved. What Michael Lansley, maybe he forgot. He had forgotten, right? You know, when his father was in the army, Michael Lansley was loved. Because as a slave, when you are on a slave plantation, your slave master loves you because you have to be productive. Are you feeding me? Today's Sunday. That's a sermon for today. You know, when the pastor is preaching the so-called word of God, the pastor becomes so confident and unwavering. It is the same way we are confident when we are speaking the word of God. Michael Lansley, his father was in the army. And once the father put the uniform down, Michael Lansley was no longer seen as human being, but as slave. Maybe he forgot. So we are here to remind him and show him what happened in the past. You know, he was loved when he was in, his father was in the army. They went to places. They went to various bases. Oh yes, he was first-class citizen. But the moment his father put the uniform down, Michael Lansley's father told him something. Listen to this. Let's see something here. Let me make sure I got the right one. Hold on, folks. Okay. Be with me. Let me make sure I find it. I didn't really. All right. So, what you see on the screen there, it says U.S. Embassy. No, this is not what I want. We're going to come to this. Okay, we're going to come to this. This is not what I want. Sorry, folks. We're going to come back to this. This is not what I want. Let me see here. All right. Okay, next African leader. Okay, very good. We're going to find it. Hold on, folks. All right, I got it. So what you see on the screens there, it says right here, right? So Michael Lansley, before he became Africa commander, it was already planned because he was groomed, he was trained, right? He was trained for this. But let's see something here. There's something I want to show you. So it says next African leader could be the first black four-star general in Marine Corps history, right? Next African leader could be, all right? So he was trained for this to do, because the source to it that Michael Lansley, number one, he don't like black people. He hate black people. He hate himself. He hate himself, right? So because he hate himself, he's going to hate his brothers and sisters. All right? You know, they say before you love other, you got to love yourself, right? That's how it is. So if you hate yourself, you will hate other people and you will hate the people that look like you. So let's see something here. Look right here. Now, this is Michael Lansley right here, right? Now, but we want to talk about his father first. So before going to his father, right here, Lansley, if confirmed, will be or will become the first black four-star general in Marine Corps history. Breaking news. Breaking new ground in a military service that has faced criticism for not promoting sufficient number of minority leaders. Now, what do you understand from here? First of all, what do you understand from here? Michael Lansley was never given this position because they wanted to give it to him to empower black people. No. Listen right here. Whenever they are given position, the white supremacy or the white organization or the Western world, whenever they give or they are giving position to a black man, they know the reason why they are giving that position. Let's read this again. Breaking new ground in a military service that face or have faced criticism of not promoting sufficient number of minority. So whenever a minority personnel is given a position, in a white supremacy organization or in the West or in any organization controlled by the white men or the West or the colonizer or the imperialists, just make sure you are not being put there for any promotion towards your black people or towards anybody that look like you. They put you there to be the face of white supremacy in blackface, right? Listen to this. Look right here. Defense Secretary Lord Austin, another white supremacy in blackface, right? Defense Secretary Lord Austin recommended the White House promote Langley to the Stuttgart, Germany base post. The Times reported, citing unarmed U.S. official. Now, it was just another black man that promoted this man, that recommended this man, that hey, the same way I am a black man, right, promoting white supremacy, there is another man who have the history of not loving himself, not loving black people. I believe he will be fit for this job. Listen to this. Let's read on. Bear with me. There is place I want to get, right? Just be with me. Now, Leslie now oversee marine forces on the East Coast, but previously had led U.S. Marine Forces Europe and Africa base out of Germany. Leslie took command of the Stuttgart area headquarters in November 2020 after his predecessor was removed in allegation of using a racial slur for African American in front of troops. Now, again, Malcolm Leslie was not just sent because they wanted to send him. Listen to this, folks. You know, white men, let's put it so, well, some white official, right? We're going to be blunt here. You know, these people, they are racist. Whenever they are leading the black men, they always, like, even if they try to hide it, that racism going to come out. That hate going to come out. So you can be, as a white man, leading African on the African continent in front of African people, and then your white racist attitude come out, right? It's going to be noticed so quick. So this was one of the reasons Michael Leslie, a black man, was spotted. This was the reason a black man was spotted after his predecessor was removed in allegation of using a racial slur for African American in front of troops. You see that, right? But let's continue. That's not what I want to show you. But I'm just leading you to the reason why Michael Leslie came that far to become the African commander. Because you need a black man, right, in front of the black man to carry on the white supremacist agenda. Because if a white supremacy is leading, right, the white agenda, leading African people, leading black people, you know the hate is there. It's going to come out. And African people are going to think twice. But if a black man is leading the black man, even if he speak the white man language, the black man might not understand. Because the black man may see him as, this is our own. He's one of us. But no, Michael Leslie is not our own. Michael Leslie is not one of us. Because Michael Leslie have never loved black people. Oh, you know, listen to this. You're going to see it. We're going to get there. But I'm just laying the premise as to why he's there in the first place. He's not there for you. Let's continue. Be with me. This is WCC. There's no opinion here. Now, Malcolm Leslie says something here, right, that contradicted what we read. So I'm going to read you something, and then we're going to go back up, and you see the contradiction, right? But that's not what I want to show you. But again, be with me. Now, in February 2021, because you know, whenever you promote the Negro, right, to act as a neo-colonialist, they always feel that they have resolved or they have reached. But listen to what Michael Leslie said, and then go back and read something previously. I don't know if you're paying attention, but I know you are paying attention. But we are here to make things clear. In a February 2021 interview with Star and Strips, Leslie said the military, like society in general, is evolving when it comes to a racial issue. Leslie said his personal experiences in the Marine have been almost exclusively positive. Almost exclusively positive on racial matter. But coming up through the rank, Leslie said he experienced instances of racial tension, mostly outside of the Marine Corps. Outside of the Marine Corps, right? Now, you see the black man, whenever one black man, and this is the reason to our race, whenever one black man is being promoted, right, then we feel that everything has been solved. Just one black man, one black man, one black person is being promoted among thousands white. Then we feel that we have reached. We feel that equality is at a peak, just one. But that one black man will not serve our interests. That one black man will not be there for us. And that's one thing we black, we have to stop. So Michael Leslie getting a position among thousands white, he felt that black people have reached to the peak. But there was something said here. I don't know if I will find it again. All right, we don't want to waste our time, right? We don't want to waste our time because we got a lot to discuss. Now, listen to this. Leslie spent a part of his childhood growing up on a racially diverse Air Force, basis on the son, as the son of a non-commissioned officer. He got his first taste of discrimination when his father retired. Now, Michael Leslie, listen to this. Michael Leslie got his first taste of discrimination when his father retired as a master sergeant in the earliest 1970s. Oh yes, but when his father had a uniform on, when his father was on a plantation, when his father was doing the work of a slave master, Michael Leslie knew nothing about discriminations. But when his father retired, when his father put the uniform down, that's the time Michael Leslie tasted his first ever discriminations as a black man. That's the time he realized that America was not on his side. That's the time he realized that he was out of the plantation and now put in a wilderness, just like every other black man. But here it is today, Michael Leslie. Where has that first taste of your discrimination gone? This is to tell you, Michael Leslie, when you put that uniform down, you are nobody and your children are nobody. All the first class treatment you've been receiving and your family been receiving, there will be nobody. But listen to this. That is not what I want to tell you. Listen to this. Michael Leslie did not listen to his father. Michael Leslie, he never listened to his father. He listened not. This is what Michael Leslie's father told him. Let me read this again and then remind Michael Leslie of what his father told him. Leslie spent a part of his childhood growing up on a racially diverse Air Force basis as the son of a non-commissioned officer. Michael Leslie got his first taste of discrimination when his father retired as a master sergeant in the early 90s. Now, when Michael Leslie got his first taste of discrimination, I know he went to his father and told his father, why this? Why this? Why am I experiencing this? Are we in America? Are we in a democratic nation? Are we in a nation of equality? And this is what his father told him. Son, this is what his father told him. Son, you guys have been shattered. You have lived on basis. You have played with whom you wanted to play with. Oh, man. Hallelujah. The son is great. Let me read this again. Michael Leslie asked his father, you served this country. You did everything. You laid down your life for this country. You could have been killed for this country. I saw you serving this country. I saw you serving the Constitution. The oath you took, you abide by that oath till you retire. Why is this happening? And Michael Leslie's father said to him, son, you guys have been shattered. You guys have lived on basis. You guys have played with whom you wanted to play with. Leslie recalled his father telling him this. Leslie's father told him, but now that I am not on a plantation no more, those lifestyles have been taken from you. You will no longer live those lifestyles. You are now an African American. You are now 3/5 of a lesser human being. Anything you speak, anytime you speak of equality of your right, they will tell you to go back to where you came from if you don't like it. Son, this is the world now you are in. You are in a different world. That world that you live in, you are no longer in that world. You are now in the world of minority. And listen to this, folks. When they moved in 1972 to the west side of Fort Worth, Texas, they were the only black family in an area referred to as cowboy country. Listen to this, folks. One more thing I want to tell you. I told you Michael Leslie did not like black people, right? Let me prove that to you. One more thing before we continue. Look right here. Look right here. At that time, Michael Leslie is speaking. At that time, we were taking it from all sides. Michael Leslie said, at that time, he were thinking from all sides. Now, what is that all side Michael Leslie was thinking? Listen to this. Leslie said, the black didn't like us because we live out in a white neighborhood. No, Michael Leslie. So do you see how Michael Leslie changed the script? Michael Leslie at that time, he said he felt the black did not like him because they were living in white neighbor town or in white neighborhood. The truth is, Michael Leslie did not like the black men because he felt black people living in slum community, they were nothing, they were nobody. Michael Leslie looked down on black people. He discriminated against black people. He never loved black people. So he changed the script to say, because at that time, Michael Leslie looked down on black people even when he go to school. He never loved black people. And because he looked down black people, he discriminated against black people. He told black people that he lived in a better neighborhood. He lived with white people and gossiped against black people. He never went around black people in colleges or in high schools. Just from his statement here, he was all around white people, talk against black people. So black people felt it necessary not to go around him. So because of his attitude that black people did not go around him, then Michael Lensley then said, black people hate him because he lived in white neighborhood. No. So are you telling them, Michael Lensley, all black people that live in white neighborhood, black people hate them? No, black people don't hate them. Black people don't hate like that. So do you see, Michael Lensley, the reason why he got that position? Because even the white supremacy read his history and said, this will be the good place for him. Michael Lensley said, the black didn't like us because we live out in a white neighborhood. And the white consider us different and wonder why we were there. You are no longer in the army. Your father no longer wear the uniform. So if they see your father come out and go, come in and out, they don't see him with uniform. So if they have seen him with uniform, maybe they would have said, you know what, this slave is still serving us. So let us leave him. But no, you no longer have uniform on. So they see you as nigger. What is he doing here? He's not doing our work. He don't have to live here. Now you are done doing our work. You need to go back to the slum community. So do you see? Michael Lensley have always hated black people because he was living in a white neighborhood. So he saw the black man as a threat. Today, he still sees the black man as a threat. Now, before we go further, we already know who Michael Lensley is. Let's go to Liberia. This is WCC. It's not about where you come from, where we come from. We are fighting for unity here. So after Michael Lensley and his imperialists sought to aid that, there will be a demonstration, there will be a march all around the world by black people. Because the United States have always used Liberia as a nation in Africa to have tentacles on the African nation and on the African continent against African great leaders. They have to do something swiftly. So by the 29, the 28, they went to Africa. They went to Liberia. The Afrikan, the terrorist organization, the terrorist arm, the US terrorist arm organization in Africa called Afrikan. They went to Liberia to swiftly sound a military deal with Liberia so that they can protect that area, so that there will be no protest or march for unification. Henceforth, this is what it did. This is what the president of Liberia did. This is what the president of Liberia did. This is what the president of Liberia did. So Liberia might become a nation to host terrorists because Afrikan is a terrorist organization. Oh no, maybe we are not saying it because we want to say it. We are going to prove what we are saying here. First of all, we already told you. If Michael Lensley, who is the commander for Afrikan, is saying they want to own and life Ibriham Traore, therefore Afrikan is a terrorist organization, and Michael Lensley is a terrorist working for a terrorist organization that want to kill or intimidate or own alive an African leader who is doing better or great for his people. Therefore, you become a terrorist organization. You become a terrorist. No, it is not only onto the US or the so-called imperialists to define what terrorist is, and then come and tell African what terrorist is. Then the US call Nelson Mandela a terrorist. Then the US call Dr. King a terrorist. Then the US call Malcolm X an extremist. Then the US call Dr. Kwame Nkrumah a terrorist. Then the US call Patrick Lumumba a terrorist. Then the US call Thomas Sankara a terrorist. Then the US call Amilcar Cabral a terrorist. All these great leaders, were they terrorists? No. But in the eyes of the imperialists, these people were terrorists. So it is the same way in our eyes, Malcolm Leslie is a terrorist. It is the same way in our eyes, African is a terrorist. Because everywhere African have gone, they create terrorists. It become a terrorist base. So henceforth, Liberia will not become a terrorist ground to destabilize African nations, African continent, and destroy African leaders. Liberia will not be a ground to host a terrorist. African is a terrorist organization. Let's continue to this. Let's continue today. And the United States Congress confirmed. The United States Congress confirmed that African is a terrorist organization in Africa. Oh yes, we're going to show that to you. We are not speaking out of opinion. The United States Congress confirmed in front of Malcolm Leslie, and Malcolm Leslie also confirmed that African is a terrorist organization in Africa. Now, African Director of Logistics announces Liberia as location for 2025 Logistics Conference. Listen to this. Listen to this. Liberia will not be a ground to host a terrorist organization. Liberia will not be a ground to host a terrorist organization called African, a branch of the United States government, a terrorist of the United States government. Liberia will not be a nation to host a terrorist organization. Now, 2025 West Africa Logistics Conference, they can have all these good names, but it is a bad name. Be careful of those. Be careful of them, for they speak softly, but war is in their heart. Be careful of them. Their voice are soft, like smooth, like oil and butter, but sword is in their heart. Sword is in their hand. The 2025 West Africa Logistics Conference will be hosted in Liberia for the first time. Why for the first time? Why for the first time? Why for the first time? Let's continue. For the first time, I'm thrilled to announce this significant milestone in ongoing effort to strengthen regional collaboration and logistic capability across West Africa. No! You are not a region. America is not a region in Africa. America is not a region in Africa. America is not sharing border with Liberia. So America cannot have a regional tie with Liberia. America cannot have a regional tie with Liberia. Liberia can only have a regional tie with any nation on the African continent. And if Burkina Faso see African as a terrorist organization, Liberia should see African as a terrorist organization. If John Mahama, the current president of Ghana, can see African as a threat to the African continent, Liberia should see African as a threat to the African continent. The United States cannot say they want to strengthen tie with Liberia when it comes to strengthening regional collaboration when you share Bola with Liberia not. The African continent cannot be building collaboration with each other, and then while Liberia is building regional tie with America, when America is not on the African continent. What kind of regional tie is that? Let's continue. The 2025 West Africa Conference focusing on enhancing interoperability, developing alliance or developing aligned logistic strategy and resources readiness to ensure our collective ability to respond swiftly and effectively to regional challenges. Okay, America, what are the solution or the impact you have made in African nations since 2011, since African went on the African continent? How can you build an effective regional challenges or ally with Africa when it was the same United States that sponsored the Arab Spring, when it was the same United States that killed Gaddafi, that destroyed Libya today? So how can you come and strengthen regional tie with Liberia? Does it make sense? African is a terrorist organization. Now, because of time, I'm going to take this out here, right? But you have seen what is here. And we are saying to the Liberian government, Joseph Boakai, you are playing with fire. If your people are not loved with any policy that you are breaking, you are putting your government into chaos. And at this time, Africa is at a different junction. Do not put Liberia in the middle of Africa where all nations are uniting for the one purpose of Africa unification. Do not stand on the way, because Liberia will be crushed down. Liberia will be crushed down. There's a warning to the Liberian government. Even what is coming, the United States can't stop it. What is coming, the US can't stop it. Europe cannot stop it. What is coming, the US can't stop it. United States can't stop it. Europe can't stop it. Don't put yourself in a predicament that you can't handle. US did not solve the issue of Ukraine. It's just a warning to you, Liberia. US did not stop the issue of Ukraine. Europe and US combined did not stop or solve the issue of Ukraine. Europe and US combined, they did not give victory to Ukraine. With all their logistics, with all their billions of dollars they spent in Ukraine, they did not give solution to Ukraine. Liberia is a warning. The US will not give you any logistics to defend yourself. If the US could have done it, there was never going to be a 14, 15-year war in Liberia. The US sat down in his embassy and watched us die. The US sat down in our country and watched US army proliferating in Africa or in Liberia while we were dying. International entities sponsored the war in Liberia, and the US sat down and watched us die, and they called it civil war. They gave it a name called a civil war. But we have United States arm-made weapon proliferating in Liberia. AUMD making billions of dollars out of the demise, the life loss of Liberian. The US sat down. They did not say we are going to come to ally with our regional partners. They did it not. They watched us die. We went to the embassy thinking that when we reached to that embassy, we would be safe. But when we went there, the US drove Liberia out of their ground. They said they don't want blood to waste on their US soil. A soil in Liberia is called a US soil. They drove us from there. They drove Liberia from there. They said, leave. And they drove us. They did not see us as a strategic ally because their arm and ammunition were proliferating in Liberia, because they knew what they wanted for that war to be there. How can they come to say they want to strengthen ally with Liberia when they told ECWA, do not go to Liberia to cease fire until we are ready? When they told AU, do not go to Liberia until we are ready. In that scenario, who were supporting the war? That means the US have the power by all means to stop the war. That means the US have the power, the capability for war not to go in Liberia. Let's stop peacekeeper not to go to Liberia. And they said, when we're ready, we will let you go. And when they got ready, that's the time ECWA came in. That's the time AU came in. That's the time UN came in. The US uphold. The UN is the powerhouse of the United Nations. I mean, the United States. It's the powerhouse of the United Nations. They waited. They told the United Nations, don't go there. They told ECWA, don't go there. They told AU, don't go there. What does that speak? So it is today that they are coming to build regional strengthened ally or capability or logistics. Liberian government, be warned. We know our history, and we are letting you know what happened. The only people you're supposed to listen to are your people. We are giving you history, and listen to that history. I know you are an old man who has served in government for over 42 years. And you know most of these things that we are telling you. The United States is not Liberia's friend. The United States does not have friends. The United States does not make friends. The United States, all they seek is interest. The United States, all they seek is interest. They don't make friends. They do not make friends. Don't get it twisted. The US have no friends. They have no ally. They have puppets. They call their friends. And I don't think we want you to be a puppet. Do not make Liberia a terrorist ground. Let's continue here. Let me take this out. So when they did this, right? That's how, when the protester came out, because after they did this, the protester came out on April 30 to protest. They went to the French embassy. The French consulate came out. He did not accept the petition that was given to him by those that was marching. He went back in his so-called embassy, and then the protester that was marching, they were not causing any harm. They wasn't even on the street. They did not block the street. They had their placard in their hand. They were marching straight on a sidewalk to the French embassy. A call was made, I believe, to the hierarchy, I believe, to President Bouaka, telling him, Mr. Slave, you know we just met you on the 28th or the 29th. And now we are seeing your citizens on the street, bringing awareness, making Liberian people to wake up. Mr. Slave, please tell those people to go back home. And that's how they called the police. The police went and harassed peaceful people who were marching. And the police told them to go back home. The police told them if they continue to march, they were going to be arrested. The police told them, in fact, the placard in your hand, damage those placards. Because the protesters said, okay, all the people that was marching said, okay, we will walk back to go home, but we will have our placard in our hand to go back. No. He said, no, get in your car and leave. And those placards in your hands, destroy it. We don't want to see those placards. The police. And then, when Those that was marching began to educate the police. We are not disturbing. We are marching on a side wall. We are not holding traffic. We are not even on the street. On a side wall, we are walking and we are just going to. We went to the French embassy. We did not cause any trouble. They didn't want to see, or I mean, the Ivorian embassy, because Africa is hosting tourists. African president is hosting tourists. African, and they are hosting tourists. There where the tourists came from, and they went to Burkina Faso. So, like Liberal said, we are giving a message to the Ivorian president, to the Ivorian consulate, to the Ivorian embassy, but they refused our petition. Now we are going to the French embassy. We are just marching. And the police told those people to go back because Joseph Boaká's slave master have called him and told him, you slave, tell these protesters or these people marching to go back. And that's how the police told the people, because everywhere people were marching, there was no permit. The entire war, there was no permit. And then the police start asking these people, okay, where is your permit? Where is your permit? To march? You have to get permit for that? The entire war was marching. Did they get permit? President Boaká, this is a warning. Afrikan is a terrorist organization. Do not establish terrorist organization in Liberia. Listen to this. Maybe you think we're speaking out of our nose, but Afrikan, it is a terrorist organization. Listen to what the American Congress, the United States Congress, and Malcolm Leslie said in here, testifying that Afrikan is a terrorist organization.
For his and America's reputation in the African continent. Let's take a look.
General Langley, I have constituents that have been scattered across Africa on train and equip missions. So just ballpark, in the last decade, how many Africans has the United States military trained and equipped?
Congressman, I don't have that figure. I can get that figure for you.
Ballpark, just, you know, how many?
Congressman, it would be a wild guess, right?
It seems like something we should know, right?
Over the years, we have trained a substantial number, especially in the Gulf of Guinea states, but including
like more than 10,000.
It is more than 10,000.
More than 50,000.
I say we're reaching around 50,000
okay.
at least.
And what percentage of the people we've trained end up participating in insurrections or coups against their own government?
Very small number, Congressman. Very small number.
So what percentage do you think?
So you heard that. We are not saying Africa is a terrorist because we just want to say it. You heard a congressman asking Malcolm Leslie, right? How many people have we trained to destabilize Africa, to kill African leaders? And you are saying quite numbers, and they're asking for those numbers. So you see a terrorist organization harassing African leaders. You see it. You heard it. They just confirmed that Afrikan is a terrorist organization. We cannot have Liberia as a land to harbor terrorists. Afrikan is a terrorist organization.
I'd say probably
participating in insurrections or coups against their own government?
very small number, Congressman. Very small number.
So what percentage do you think?
I'd say probably less than 1%.
But it does happen.
The IMET program is in force, and we've pushed a significant number through our schools across the.
Yeah, and what data sets do you track to arrive at the conclusion that less than 1% of the roughly 50,000 that we've trained have participated in coups? Because it'd be like about 500, about 1% of 50,000.
Congressman, you may have that information. I don't at this time, but I know.
Well, I know there are some, right? Like go ahead and throw up that image. This is Colonel Mamade Doumbouya, and this is a photo of him. Did we train and equip him in Guinea?
By name, I cannot identify that.
Well, that guy in the middle with the big red hat, Colonel Mamade Doumbouya, that's him with a bunch of U.S. service members outside of our embassy. And just months after this photo was taken in 2021, he led a coup in Guinea and threw out the leader. Does that concern you?
Congressman, core values is what we start off with in IMA programs.
Do we share?
So again, you saw it, you heard it. He agreed to it. He agreed. So the question was asked. This man, he is right here at the United States Embassy, right? After a week, overthrown a government, and he agreed to it. Yes, Congressman, we have a core value. What is that core value? That core value is any African leader who does not accept American foreign policy, Europe foreign policy, we kill you. We come after you. We destabilize your nation. We create proxy war. That is the core value. African is a terrorist organization. They just confirm it. You heard it clear. You heard it. How can we explain this for you to understand that African is a terrorist organization on the African continent? African is a terrorist organization in Africa. So you heard it. They are not there. In fact, in one of the interview that I also listened to from Michael Leslie, when they asked him about how can they be in Africa, and at the same time, terrorists is increasing, and at the same time, those African nations cannot defeat terrorists. You know what he said? The purpose of America or Africa on the African continent is not about fighting terrorists. It's not to fight terrorists for Africa. They are only there to advise Africa how to fight the terrorists. It is Africans who will go and take matter into their own hand to go fight the terrorists. What does that speak to you, folks? They create the chaos and capitalize on the chaos. They fund the terrorists, create the terrorists, give arm and ammunition to the terrorists, give medical support to the terrorists, make the terrorists strong, and then put African life in danger. And then African army go there with no modern equipment while the terrorists have those modern equipment. And then Africans go and die. Continue war, continue proxy war as they continue to loot our mine and diamond and gold. France does not have diamond mine, but France have reserve. The United States does not have most of the mineral resources in the world, but the United States have reserve of it. This is how they get their resources. Core value. African is a terrorist organization. Michael Leslie is a terrorist that worked for a terrorist organization. He just confirmed. You heard it.
Core values with Colonel Doumbouya?
Core values. I will repeat that. Core values. Respect for humanity.
Do we share those values with Colonel Doumbouya?
Absolutely. In our curriculum.
He led a coup.
We do.
Okay, well, that's a very telling answer. In Burkina Faso, did we share core values with the leader that we trained there who led a coup?
It's in our curriculum. We stress core values. We request civilian-led governance.
Wait, hold on. Is leading coups in our curriculum?
Absolutely not.
So
civilian-led.
My question is, do we share core values with the coup leader in Burkina Faso who we trained?
Holistically, we teach core values with respect for civilian governance, apolitical, And that's what sticks across a high, very high percentage in the 90 over
but not
99
everybody, right?
percentile.
But not everybody. And when I wonder how many people it takes to plan a coup. I mean, initially you didn't know how many we trained and equipped. Then you said it was 1%. You had no basis for that 1% number because there's no data set.
So you heard it. They train and they equip Africans to go kill African leaders, to go destabilize Africa, to go kill Africans who will not be in accordance with their policy. You heard it. We train, we equip African to remove African leaders. You heard it. So how can these people come and tell you, say, we want to have African base on your African continent, and you agree? Joseph Boakai, please, 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 even though Liberian people have problem with your legacy in Africa, please, please, we beg you, do not have a breeding ground for terrorists in Liberia. Please. Africa is a terrorist organization. Please, please don't do it. Don't create another chaos. America was never in our interest when there was 15-year war. They never came there. They are armed proliferator in Liberia that destroy and kill Liberia. Please, we beg you.
You track. Mr. Chairman, I seek unanimous consent to enter into the record. Another U.S. trained soldier stages a coup in West Africa by the Intercept.
Without objection, so ordered.
And I further seek unanimous consent to enter into the
So we take that out, right? Now, these are the reasons Africans are standing up. Now, let's get to the protests or the march around the world, right? We have laid a premise. We have laid an analysis of why we don't want the US, we don't want Europe, we don't want their presence in Africa. No more. We don't want it. And this is a warning to them. Any African leader, look, the last leader the United States ever killed was Gaddafi. It's a warning to them now. The last leader that the US or NATO killed was Gaddafi. It's not going to happen again. Any leader that stand up for the right, like Ibriham Traore, you will be protected. The US and NATO will touch you not. If the US want to go against Africans leader, let them go to Farouk. Let them go and remove Farouk. We'll be happy. Let them go and kill Farouk. We're going to be happy. Let them go and kill Ouattara. Africa, we will be happy. Let them go to Pombia, whether he stay alive. We will be happy. Go and remove those people. But you can't be working with corrupt African leaders and then leaders that want a betterment for Africa, and then you come and kill them. Gaddafi was the last. Gaddafi was the last. And there's a warning to the US. If you still want to have presence in Africa, you better leave Ibriham Traore alone, and you better leave any African leaders who want good or greatness for Africa. Because the issue here is you are no longer seen as who you are. If you want to have your embassies in Africa and around African nations, you better stop. Because in no time, American embassy will be booted out of Africa. What you saw with France embassy, take that as a warning. America, what you saw as French embassy being removed, being stormed by Africans, see that as a warning. We are done speaking on this. We are done with your nonsense. We are done with your attitude. If you still want to have presence in Africa, change your old ways. That's all we're telling you. We are telling you this. We are done. Enough is enough. It have come to that point. We don't care anymore. And don't think if you try war, you're going to win. You will, in fact, that will be the end. Because you will be calling for your demise very soon. Don't call for war. It's a warning. Do not call for war. Because it is a war that you will never win. You will lose.
there is a way. As far as he has started it, if the Americans 400 years ago was able to think about making their country a better place for them today, that if we want to come there, they will need us to go through, embassies and be begging and be going to churches to make sure we get to their land. We are telling them that we are ready to do it today and we don't need them. If they were able to do it, we can do it. If they were able to do it with us, we are ready to do it for us. Nobody here can tell us that in the days of slavery, when they were sending our people through the Mediterranean Sea, they were going there to go and be taking pictures and selfies. No, they were going there to dig holes and lay lines for railways to be built. And today, the same youth are in Africa. We don't want them to use the Mediterranean Sea again to go and enslave themselves. We want them to build our own country. This is more like they have been exported. Of all the gold, of all the resources, Burkina Faso. Of all the resources Burkina Faso have, they've not been able to build even more than 5,000 kilometers of road. Today, as we are speaking, when our politicians go around building first coach, second coach roads, he is building asphalted overland roads. How many years? And today, the person that is building roads, the person that is giving hope to the people, we have some people coming from nowhere to tell them that we are ready to give you life. In fact, if they want to give life, they should go to Congo, they should go to South Sudan, they should go there, and the mess they caused there, they should go and put it together and take it back to their country. Enough is enough. We are ready to rise up and say enough is enough. Because now they can never keep us in the fear or the shackles of imperialism. No way. We are ready to detach ourselves and say enough is enough. And this is the time that African youth need to read through the lines and see and realize the truth. The same way they did to Nkrumah, they use the same people. And this is a warning that goes to all African leaders, that they sit back and allow themselves to be used by the imperialists. Anytime there has been any elimination of any African good leader,
they use black people. Our people, we hail. How na day today? My name is Nicolas.
And my name is Charity.
Great. Use our own people like against us.
Just as they're doing right now.
For now, we have Ivory Coast leader. The president of Ivory Coast. If you are a brother and you sit down with our enemy, you become our enemy. Simple. Not our brother again. Warning to them. Warning to them. And we are sending a strong warning to the president of Ghana to send a strong warning as far as diplomacy is concerned to the president and the consulate of Ghana for Ivory Coast, that enough is enough. We are never going to sit down and allow this to happen again. If we believe in African unification, if we celebrate Setmat, which is our independence, that Nkrumah actually linked it to the total liberation of Africa, we are saying today that as he is a president, he should respect that quote of Nkrumah and also believe in the vision of Nkrumah by sending a message to the Ivorian president that, my brother, you are stepping on the toes of the lion. Don't do this as a brother, because if you do, we are never going to sit back and watch you. If we can't get hold of you, you have your family. Start coming after them. Tell them we are coming.
If you sell a brother, the buyer will never trust. If you are a brother, you are a brother. To the president of the Republic of Ghana, if they can assassinate Ibriham Traore without the youth of being protected, it means they can assassinate him. And I repeat several times that if we in Ghana here are protecting somebody from another land, what about you, the president of the Republic of Ghana? We are 100% ever ready to protect you. Whatever good work you want to do for your continent, your country, go ahead and do it. As a youth of the continent, during the time of Kwame Nkrumah, that the youth were sleeping and they do whatever they do to Kwame Nkrumah. This time around, if John Dramani Mahama want to come out from his heart and do it for the Republic of Ghana, no West and America can do anything to him, because the youth of Africa, we are protecting somebody from Burkina Faso, we can protect him. This is not the type of Nkrumah. This is not the type of Patrice Lumumba. This is not the type of Thomas Sankara. Let me tell you something. This Western America, they are very, very extra vigilant. At the time when Gaddafi was giving free education to people in Libya, that is where they told us Gaddafi is a dictator. At the time Gaddafi was giving people apartment to sleep without paying, that is where they told us Gaddafi is a dictator. Let me tell you, it takes African Caribbeans to make a only telephone call for 500 million US dollars for just a single year. It takes Gaddafi to put up $300 million when other African countries are putting up 100 million. They still told us Gaddafi is a dictator. When Gaddafi was telling Africans to have African Development Bank, that we don't have anything to do with the IMF, we don't have anything to do with the World Bank. That is where they were telling us that Gaddafi is a dictator. That time, we were not having the media to see what Gaddafi was doing. By today, on top of Captain Ibriham Traore, we were having the media. We can see what he's doing, and we are ever ready to protect every good leader of the soil who stand up for the people. The time is now to save our good leader. The time is now to protect even my president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Let me tell you, I said Mahama do well. We are not fighting in Ghana again. Nobody fight again. If you don't know, the whole of we are ready for fight. The only president that is standing for Captain Ibrahim Traore is the president of the Republic of Ghana. We are pleading on him as we are calling on another massive protest on the 25th of May, which is the African Union Day. He should give us a massive support so that we can do that.
They are happy because they know it's in progress. Yes. We need the leaders of our continent to start giving their people the kind of leadership that actually gave them the resilience to vote for them to come and lead them. It is not for them to come and make themselves happy, be there for their president, just like our previous government did by putting his government, his people, his family on top of everything we're doing in this country. So we are sending this. It's an advice to any leader and an advice to the president of this country, Ibrahim Mahama, John Dramani Mahama, that he served the people and served them right. Eyes are watching, ears are listening. It's an advice to everyone. When you sit somewhere and you're hungry and you see your neighbor has started eating out of the same field of which we could have all fed from, you start rising up. When the people of this country started going through hunger, they will rise up with the pain. And the people that will rise up, the people are ready to be. Not only going to be Ghana and RAF that will stand for President John Dramani Mahama. The youth will rise up and defend you. The youth of Africa will rise up and defend you. The youth of the Caribbean and the entire world, as far as you're a black man, will defend you. Just as we are defending Ibrahim Traore now. Ibrahim Traore is not in our country. Yes. But we stand with him strongly because he's actually paving the way for we to see that Africa can be led by Africans and it will be good. We have more of Ibrahim Traore within us, but the fear of the imperialists, the shackles of imperialism is what has kept us in the fear that we keep cowering in. And we are saying enough is enough. Just as much as some of our ancestors, even when they were sailing them out of the oceans, out of the shores of our continent, they still resisted and spoke up. We are out of the shackles now and will continue to speak to liberate the minds of our fellow youth. It is us now. Africa can be led right. We can do it. We can enjoy the better lives that we go out there to be enslaved with. We can build it. I don't mind being enslaved in my own continent to build my continent for the next generation that will come after me. But when I leave here and go and be a slave in someone's country, it hurts. The worst of it is when you go and struggle with your mind, with your hands and everything within you. You can't even send the sweat that you work for to your own country. It is them that decide how much you send it to your country. It is crazy. But when they come here, they do as they please. When they are going, they carry as they want. These people want us to come to their embassies and be begging them for we to come and be slaves in their own countries. In fact, if they want to help us, we are begging them that the help we need them to do now is to stay away from our affairs. But we are ready to rise up and fight through the struggles and make it on our own. African unity now, and we'll do it. That Berlin Conference that divided us as a continent, we are going to also sit down and recollect to the past what Nkrumah told us in Ethiopia, that if you don't come together, we will suffer together one day. Arise, Africa.
Passe mbe ibe zugu nkani yalsa baba ngobda na banyinga wallahi wallahi a ibe a old bulara sama mbingi wallahi ton kana kamba yuba mbeka wallahi ton we bulara ma taban pare wallahi a ibe yinga libi asira yinga ton bora ka nere ka bumbi ka arzaki ka adigdinga ya asira zum ambe afrika ndata fa afrika gilla ibe ka burkina nabo ya afrika gilla naba kingo prama bunya kunusu amerika nyaka nugu mbatona ibe na ba nyinga wallahi ni sa sisa iba sisa afrika ni sebe be afrika gilla wallahi beto ne fanya kan nugu ba ibe tuma na ba agusi asanga ba agusi ara samsung yes sir na ba yoton ba ibe je buda ba ka fam yit burkina o ya sira zugu inshallah ibe ibe pori
great what's going on around the world. I'm from Germany personally.
Okay, you're from Germany.
Yeah, I'm here for vacation.
Okay.
And I heard about the protest today. I was looking online, I couldn't find it, but I heard about it like an hour ago. I took an Uber and I went here from my place where I stay because I think it's very important to bring up the energy to fight for what is right and to protect this great guy, Ibriham Traore. Yeah, and I think what is also important to know that we Africans, we have to stick together. Like no matter if you're Ghanaian, Ethiopian, Nigerian, Congolese, wherever you're from, we have to stick together as one and fight the ones who are trying to bring up this continent.
It's time to prepare for a career you'll love. We help you train for new careers in healthcare. It's time to prepare for a career you'll love. We help you train for new careers in healthcare.
Wake up! Let's leave us alone! Let's leave us alone! Let's leave us alone! Ibrihim Traore! Africa! Africa!
Unite!
Africa!
Unite!
Don't give them that chance. Think of your children, think of your future. Yes. Think of your brother standing next to you. If they can get to you and they bring him down, the whole country is doomed. Everybody in Africa is doomed. We will keep fighting, your children will fight, your whole generation will fight. So stand up. Don't let them use you. Don't let them use you. Don't let them use you.
Everybody stand up.
I have something to add. So what I am saying here is that we are not here to call for war. We are not here to call for war. We are here to raise awareness, to tell the so-called Western powers that we are ever ready to protect our land. We are ever ready to protect our leaders. They lied about Thomas Sankara. They lied about Patrice Lumumba. They lied about Kwame Nkrumah. They lied about Muammar Gaddafi. They lied. But it's about time. Now we read, we search, we watch, we learn. You understand me? And also, I want to tell all my black brothers that it is about time we put tribalism, religion, and politics aside and put our race first. It's about time we put black people first and put religion, tribalism, and politics aside and put ourselves first. It's about time we protect our own land. And one last message to the Western powers. You can't hate the black man and love his resources. If you hate the black man, you should also hate his resources. Don't hate me, don't hate my brother and come for my resources. If you are sacking me from your country, don't come to my country, don't come for my resources. My resources is for me. If you want my resources, buy it. If you want my resources, pay for it. Don't steal it. Don't steal it. Thank you very much.
To them. It's Africa and certain peoples of South America. In their minds, as I mentioned recently, Africa belongs to them. Our lands belong to them. The riches of Africa are for them. And they can't conceive that Africans could liberate themselves, to come up for air and therefore want to stand up to them. And for that, they put a stereotype in their heads. The African is easy to manipulate, he is just emotion. They will always find an African to fight against his brother. And it has always been like that. Subtitling by Radio Society. Through communication and through various means, they have managed to make you hate your own skin color.
All right, guys.
So to Michael Lansley and to the American Congress, to the racist US Congress, this is Burkina Faso. You said Ibrahim Traore is using the resources, the goal that you so focus on for the purpose of protecting his military regime around him. So these are the Burkinabes. This is Burkina Faso, and they are sending a warning to the US to back off. They are telling the US, if Ibrahim Traore is using the goal for his own purpose, let the Burkinabes justify that. Because you went and justified the issue of Libya, but that's not what you said that Gaddafi was doing. Today, Libya, under US democracy, is a place that even Libya themselves don't want to live. So Burkinabes are saying they do not want you to make Burkina Faso like another Libya. So Michael Lansley, listen to what the Burkinabe says and see the kind of crowd you see right here.
Camarades, bonjour.
Comrades, good morning.
Camarades, la patrie ou la mort.
Comrades, homeland or death.
La patrie ou la mort. Camarades.
Comrades,
Je suis là ce matin.
I am here this morning,
Mandaté.
mandated by our comrade president, Captain Ibrahim Traore,
Capitaine Ibrahim Traore. Pour vous porter
to deliver a message to you that consists of 3 points.
Qui tient en 3 points. C'est d'abord un message
It is first a message of recognition and thanks,
de reconnaissance et de remerciement. Reconnaissance et remerciement.
recognition and thanks to you, revolutionary patriots,
Révolutionnaires qui êtes debout ce matin
who are standing here this morning at Revolution Square.
de la révolution. Mais à travers vous,
But through you, these are words of thanks and recognition to all the revolted
à
peoples,
l'endroit de tous les peuples révoltés, à l'endroit de tous les peuples
to all the
debout
peoples
aujourd'hui,
standing today
en
on this
cette
memorable
journée
day
mémorable
of April
du
30th,
30 avril
2025.
2025. Les peuples debout ici au Burkina,
The peoples standing
à
here in
Ouagadougou,
Burkina,
à
in
Bobo
Ouagadougou,
Dioulasso,
in Bobo
à
Dioulasso,
Tenkodogo,
in
à
Tenkodogo,
Kédougou,
in Dedougou,
partout au Burkina,
everywhere in Burkina,
les
the peoples
peuples
standing in
debout
Africa,
en Afrique,
the peoples of the diaspora
les peuples
standing on other
de la
continents,
diaspora debout sur les autres continents. Vous tous qui êtes debout,
all of you who are standing for freedom,
pour la
standing
liberté,
for dignity, and standing to say no to
debout
oppression,
pour la dignité, et debout pour dire non à l'oppression, debout pour dire non à
standing to
l'injustice,
say no to injustice,
et debout pour dire oui à
and
la
standing,
liberté.
said from slavery.
HELOC versus HEI. What's the difference? Let me show you. HELOCs are loans. You borrow.
Depuis la période de
From the period of
l'esclavage,
slavery until today, imperialism has not changed its methods.
l'impérialiste n'a pas changé de méthode. La méthode est juste plus subtile.
The
et
method
plus
is just
douce.
more subtle and gentler.
Parce que sous l'esclavage,
Because during slavery,
quand nos grands-parents, nos
when our
arrière-grands-parents
grandparents, our great-grandparents, were chained in the holds of ships to be deported and used as beasts of burden,
pour être déportés et servir de bêtes de somme, la méthode de l'impérialiste,
the method of imperialism was known.
quand l'impérialiste était fatigué de tenir lui-même la
When the
cravache,
imperialist was tired of holding the whip himself, what did he do?
il choisissait parmi les
He
esclaves
chose among the slaves some unworthy ones who were ready to betray their brothers and sisters,
indignes qui étaient prêts à trahir leurs frères et sœurs. Et une fois qu'il les avait
and once
choisis,
he had chosen them, he gave them
il
access
leur
to his
donnait
salon.
accès à son salon.
And they had the right to fight over the crumbs with the imperialists' dogs. And that was enough to make them drawing room slaves. And from then on, the imperialist handed the whip into their hands. And these drawing room slaves were then responsible for whipping their own brothers and sisters.
All right, I posted a link because of time. I gotta leave, right? So that's I'm running through stuff quick. But next Sunday we're gonna play this same video next Sunday. All right, because it's a very great speech. So next Sunday we actually gonna play this video because we're gonna be on this for a while. Yeah. So let me play another one.
A 34-year-old soldier, yes, just a captain, toppled a president and woke up an entire nation. This is the story.
We played this earlier, right? I don't... Sorry, folks, we played that already. I don't want to play that. So I gotta go.
Black leader somewhere in the world, they send in one of these mash-mouth guys to go in there and be the spokesperson because it looks horrible when it's a white person doing it. We're going to go in there and get Osama bin Laden and we're going to shoot him. Everyone's kind of hip to that old trick. So now they got a new trick. Or maybe it's an old trick that I just don't know about. Letting the face be the old black guy so it doesn't look so racist. Put him in the front lines and let him be angry. How do you take this job? You know the game. You know the game. Everybody knows the game at this point. The elite of this world want to keep control. Any inkling that they're going to lose that control over the world and every single country that's not a superpower, and even some that are superpowers, they want it all. America versus China versus, that's what it's all about. It's all about a pissing contest. And it amazes me that they talk about these gangs on the streets fighting for turf when you fight for turf every single day. This is what it's all about, turf and money and power. That's what it's about. What do you think those guys on the street fighting about that y'all call those guys are thugs, losers? Why are they fighting and killing each other? Why are you fighting? They learn by watching you.
I learned it by watching you.
It's so funny that once you legitimize something, you could get away with anything as long as you put on a nice suit, your little friggin' stars and stripes. You get to say it's for democracy. They're going after Captain Ibriham Traore only because he kicked you out. He bastard you. And now you have to make it seem like you did with Gaddafi. You have to make it seem like he's the bad guy. Well, guess what? How about this? If you're so superior, right? If you're so great, you're this big giant superpower, do it without their resources. If you're so great, why do you need their resources? What's the problem? Can you not do it without Africa's gold and cobalt and diamonds? If you're so great, leave them alone. And if they're so bad, if, the black people can't do it on their own, let's see them. Let's see. It seems like it's doing pretty good. Every time a non-black nation tries to gain independence, in comes the you-know-who to destabilize that population. Why now 20 coup attempts, 20 attempts on this man's life? If he is doing whatever he's doing in his country, leave him the hell alone and let him do it. Leave him alone. Let's see how it works out. Isn't Doge set up in America to do what? To uncover fraud and stealing and laundering in America, right? Nobody came in from the outside and said, hey, those guys are doing something illegal down there. We need to go and police America. No, America is doing it internally, right? So let them do it internally. Let them set up their own Doge and figure out what's going on. Why do you have to interfere with that country? You know why? Because you don't think you can do it without their resources. And something even more devious is that you know that other countries in Africa will follow. And then sooner or later, you will actually have to play fair and pay these people what things are actually worth. There won't be millions of kids digging for diamonds and cobalt with their bare hands. If you care so much about these people, why did that go on for so long and why does it still go on? Because you got the cobalt, right? Yeah, y'all don't care about nobody. All y'all care about is your freaking selves. You care about the controlling the world. And as that control slips away, everyone's getting desperate. You know what? Shouts out to Traore. Props. 100% props. Let's keep it going. Let's continue to show the world that Africa and black people can do it without interference. Just leave them alone and let them do what they're doing. Let's see how it goes.
My name is
every black person needs to know. Ibriham Traore. If you haven't heard that name yet, you will and you should. Because this man might just be the spark that lights a fire they can't put out. Who is Ibriham Traore? No bending. Traore didn't come to make peace with colonial leftovers. He came to clean house. And now the whole world's watching because he's not playing the role they scripted for African leaders. I need you to understand the world we're living in. The current global order, USA and Europe on top, Africa as the raw material supplier, depends on keeping Africa underdeveloped, divided, and desperate. That's not conspiracy talk. That's history. Because if Africa ever stands up and controls its gold, controls its cobalt, controls its uranium, controls its agriculture, controls its oil, the whole world economy shifts. And the West knows it. That's why they smile and shake hands at summits while pushing coups, debts, destabilizations, and media narratives beneath the table. Traore is openly breaking the script. He's kicking out French military bases, he's severing ties with colonial banks, and he's aligning himself quietly with BRICS, not openly begging for loans, but talking about true partnerships. He's calling out hypocrisy on international stages. And he's doing it young, confident, unapologetic. That's terrifying to the West. Because here's the truth they don't want to admit. If Traore is successful, Africa wins a seat at the real table, not as guests, as owners. Already, we're beginning to hear whispers in Western media. He's stealing his country's resources. He's becoming authoritarian. He's ruining democracy. Sound familiar? This is the same playbook they run on Lumumba, Sankara, Nkrumah, and Gaddafi. Anytime a black leader says, our land, our resources, our future, they get labeled a threat, a dictator, a madman. Because the real crime isn't corruption. The real crime is independence. You may ask yourself, why is this bigger than Burkina Faso? If Traore wins, it's not just Burkina Faso that rises. It's Mali, Guinea, Niger, Chad, and Congo. These are the richest lands in gold, uranium, cobalt, bauxite, and have the youngest, hungriest populations in the world. Africa has the youngest population on Earth. We are not the past. We are the engine of the future. And if the youth are emboldened by Traore's success, it changes global politics forever. I want you to picture this. Every time a black life is taken unjustly in the streets of the West, they'll have to think twice because there'll be a unified Africa ready to check them with real power behind the outrage. Not just hashtags, not just protests, not just pleading for cameras to pay attention. I'm talking about real consequences, real leverage, real checks being written. When an African leader succeeds in taking full control of his nation's resources and destiny, it strengthens every Black person globally, especially African Americans and those in the Caribbean. Because if Africa rises, African Americans and those in the Caribbean gain political leverage they've never had before. When Africa stands tall, it gives Black America a bargaining chip bigger than any hashtag, bigger than any viral video, bigger than any awareness campaign. Trade deals get influenced, embassies get pressured, policies get shifted, reparation conversations gain weight. It changes the math. It changes the conversation. It changes who the world fears offending. When Black people anywhere are attacked, Black power everywhere answers. That's why Traore's fight isn't just his. It's ours too. It's yours too. So, my Black family, we have to back him, not just with words, not just with Instagram posts, but with awareness, advocacy, pressure on media narratives, economic support where possible. Because here's the
abroad and within the diaspora, let's not be stupid again. The same playbook they use for Patrice Lumumba, the same playbook they use for Kwame Nkrumah, the same playbook they use for Thomas Sankara is the same playbook that they are trying to use for Ibrahim Traore. And we cannot let that happen, bro. The accent and image that Ibrahim Traore represents is not only a threat to Westerners, but it's a threat to all the leaders in Africa that have been sitting and collecting dust and doing nothing for us, just squandering our wealth. We are not our parents' generations, bro. It's up. We're tired of being disrespected. Everywhere you go, Africans are getting disrespected. How much longer are Africans supposed to be living in poverty? Being self-sufficient, being independent, being defiant is what the threat is because they know what it represents. I am a proud African as it is, but seeing Ibrahim Traore makes me so much more proud, bro. That's what African leaders are supposed to represent and stand for. Not supposed to be docile, kissing people. Like, what do you carry yourself with some dignity and some pride? We're never supposed to be going around begging for nothing. We don't lack for nothing. Let's get ourselves together, couple our resources, educate ourselves, and get Africa developed the way that it needs to be developed. I know for me, all investments are going to Africa. So this is my call to all Africans. Unfollow all of these gossip pages. If anybody is not talking about something that's moving us forward, you're wasting your time, bro. You're wasting your time and you're wasting your resources. We don't got no more time to be wasting around, bro. And listen, we cannot leave it to the older generation. I already gave up on a lot of them. Their minds are colonized to the max. Leave them there. We got to do the work that it takes to get Africa to where it is now to where it needs to be. Attention to Africans, both living abroad and within the diaspora. Let's not be stupid again. The same playbook they use for participation.
We go there for their resources, oil, metals, cheap labor. We don't go to bring democracy. We took this land from the Indians. We stole it. After we stole all the land we need, we put up the sign, "Thou shalt not steal." Democracy is a con game. It's a word invented to placate people, to make them accept a given institution. All institutions sing, "We are free." The minute you hear freedom and democracy, watch out. Because in a truly free nation, no one has to tell you you're free. Well, this system.
Nous sommes actuellement à l'endroit le plus visité au monde, Times Square. Aux États-Unis, il y a respect. Voilà, tout le monde est là pour soutenir le président Ibrahim Traore. Hey, faut-il
Voilà. Donc, tout ensemble.
Unite now. We must have one army. We must have one currency. We must have one foreign policy. We must be united. And I can hear, we must unite now. We must have one army. We must have one currency. We must have one foreign policy. We must be united. And I can hear, we
Donald Trump, to be precise. Dear Mr. Donald Trump, not only una cause fights between Russia and Ukraine, una never settle am. Not only una cause fights between Iran and Israel, they never settle am. Only America cause fights between Gaza and Israel, they never settle am. Not only America cause problem between North Korea and South Korea, una never settle am. Not only America they cause problem between China and Taiwan, una never settle am. Na Africa, where una one can carry una wahala come for Burkina Faso, where una can scatter that country. The same way where una scatter Libya for 2011, for 2011. If you now want to see una end for the whole entire Africa, touch Ibrahim Traore, dear Mr. Donald Trump, or dear
get tired, we will continue to move forward in that direction. And so I was telling all the ministers, I said to tighten the belt. Since we've been here, there are no government vacations. It works 24/7. The same goes for the alt. There are no vacations for deputies to go rest in the village. We must work 24/7, 12 months a year. So we are in this rhythm. As long as the soldiers at the front have no rest, there is no reason for us to have rest behind. And so I invite the entire administration to fall in line to support it. So the living forces in everything they do. I think that little by little, there is progress. We see many changes in behavior. We need to completely change the situation. Burkina Faso is a reference, and we must maintain a good relationship with people. Hold the torch very high. We need to manufacture many things locally. I am convinced that whether it's electric or motorized tricycles, we can manufacture them.
By the way, Burkina Faso is manufacturing her own car, electric car. So Burkina Faso currently is manufacturing or electric car, and this go to America. That's why this go to America. That's why they see they don't like, and they want to get this man out because there will be no more Tesla.
Under the towering skyline of New York City, a different kind of power stood tall, this time from the ground up. On April 30th, African voices thundered through Times Square, not in fear, but in fierce solidarity with Captain Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso. These weren't just Burkinabe expats. They were sons and daughters of the entire African continent, Malians, Nigerians, Congolese, Senegalese, rising up together in defiance of a global system they say has long exploited them. The message was clear and unapologetic. Africa is done begging. The West can keep its aid, its lectures, its puppet regimes. So we are here today, out here in Times Square, in the heart of Manhattan, to show the whole world that we are ready for him, and we must demonstrate to the world that he is the one we have chosen. Homeland or death, we will overcome. I am here to support.
Hello, my name is Adam Ferrari, the Chief Executive Officer of Phoenix Energy. I look forward to you joining
Their chants didn't just echo through the streets of Manhattan. They challenged the very halls of power. No more plots, no more puppets, they said. We stand with Traore. We fight for our dignity. This is not just protest. It's prophecy. I think he is a Thomas Sankara, a second Thomas Sankara who is here, who will change everything, who will liberate Africa. He is our chance. We failed Gaddafi. We cannot fail Ibrahim Traore. We are here this morning to support our worthy sons, the determined ones, those who have truly accepted to liberate us. He is everything to us. He is everything to us. He is our, we can say, our hope. He is the father of orphans, the husband of widows, the son of the poor, the brother of everyone. Ibrahim is a great leader. Ibrahim Traore, hands off Burkina Faso, hands off Africa. These were not random gatherings. They were coordinated flames in a wildfire of resistance. African diasporas and their allies flooded the streets with chants, banners, and conviction, rejecting the veiled threats and manipulations of men like US General Michael Langley. Across continents, the name Ibrahim Traore echoed like a drumbeat of defiance. In Vienna, young Africans called him the blueprint. In London, imperialism was denounced with no apologies. In Accra, the people stood tall, refusing to bow to a system that has robbed generations. Just like already mentioned, in New York, the message rang loud outside the embassies of France and the US. Africa is not yours to dictate. Captain Traore has become more than a president. He's a lightning rod for a movement that says the
South Africa.
The message today is that Donald Trump, General, we are not going to touch Ibrahim Traore. The whole Africa is standing up right now. We are saying we are not scared of you. If it means death, bring it on. We are ready for you. One Africa is our minerals. The time is now. We are standing. Amanda!
Let's to fight for our land. Vive l'Afrique! Vive! Vive l'Afrique! Vive!
I'm not talking about Mozambique. I'm not talking about Congo. I'm talking about the whole Africa. We are tired of being exploited. The time is now for us to unite and fight for our minerals. We need each other more than ever. I won't make any excuses or examples of other races. We blacks, we Africans, this is our time now. We need to unite now.
We are here to show solidarity to Traore and the people of Burkina Faso. We are saying one Africa, Amanda. Amanda. Ibrahim Traore is not going to be like Gaddafi, Amanda. We are going to stand in solidarity with Ibrahim Traore, Amanda.
Amanda! Do not be scared. You must not be scared. The Americans, they must know one thing. The contracts that they have is with our corrupt leaders. Not with us. We, as the youth of Africa, we are taking control over our mineral wealth. Like our Ibrahim Traore said, it's either we fight or we die as slaves forever. If we do not fight right now, the future for our children is going to be doomed. If we do not stand up now, the young ones that are coming, the future is going to be doomed. So that is why today we are gathered here into this embassy to tell them that they are no longer safe. Africa must unite. The time is now. Let us be like Dubai. Let us carry one currency. It is crazy that if you carry gold as the owner of the land, they want to arrest you. for carrying your own mineral. They say it's against the law. But if you carry a gun, they say it's legal. A gun that can kill. How is it possible? We want to carry gold and go across Africa. I want to take my gold to Zimbabwe. I want to take my gold to Burkina Faso. I want to take my gold to Nigeria. Do business.
Brothers and sisters, you know, in Hyde Park, we're not allowed to use any kind of microphone, and we use our voice only, and we can normally reach.
Ibriham Traore from Burkina Faso.
9 tablets of 100 milligram generic Viagra for $7 from Friday Plans. I thought it was a scam, but I was wrong. Friday Plans made the whole...
Africans around the globe are coming together to fight for the freedom of expression, the freedom of being, and to arrange for our ancestors to step in and are all gathering. And from there,
is that we are the children and the people of the one God. In the greeting words of peace, Assalamu alaikum. Those words simply mean peace be unto you. Dear family, for many, many years, our African continent has been divided and ruled, has been divided and conquered. In 1884, 1885, they sat in Berlin and they determined to carve up and to destroy the African continent and the African people. Since that time, the genius, the DNA of the African people has been producing leaders, producing teachers, producing warriors, and in every occasion, the enemy who has been vigilant and watching has worked to overthrow, to destroy, to discredit, to murder those leaders, those teachers, those guys. But this genius, this DNA, this reality of the original people cannot be destroyed. And so once again, from the womb of a beautiful black woman, a warrior whose name is Ibrihim. Family, the enemy is bloodthirsty.
Yeah.
You know that. No, you don't know that. You don't understand.
Yeah, where now?
Some of you still believe that you can negotiate with this enemy. You cannot negotiate with Satan. Even Muammar Gaddafi, after over 40 years, the enemy was determined to kill him. And 40 years, and even Muammar Gaddafi, at a certain point in time, began to think that he could make friends with the enemy. And it was at that point that the enemy destroyed him and destroyed the nation of Libya. And through Libya, they infiltrated
All right, folks, we gotta go. I got somewhere to go. I gotta be somewhere for family event at 12. So this is today's presentation. I'm sorry because of this. I have to instead of 1 o'clock, we have to go to and we had to start 9 a.m. this morning. But tomorrow, let's say Sunday, we're going to start with our regular schedule. Hopefully, 1 p.m. and we're going to continue on with this with this issue. There's a video that I want to share. There's a couple of things I want to show. So we're going to start with that next Sunday. So, but I gotta go. This is today's presentation. We got to stick together as Black people all around the world. This is our time. Any threat to Black anywhere is a threat to Black everywhere. And I think this is what we need to stand for. We cannot allow the United States or the imperialists or Europe to control our own narrative, right? While they control their narrative, we don't control their narrative. So in the same way, we should control our narrative. It is time to tell the US to back off African resources, all the way to Haiti and to the Caribbean, South America, and all the way to Africa, the African continent. We have to stand together and fight for every Black nation and tell the US, hands off Haiti, hands off Africa, and hands off South America. Uhuru.
The white power structure, because that's all we have in America. And the